Welcome, Atlanta United family, to another weekly episode of Resurge The Spike ATL here with our usual co-host James. And today we have a special guest, friendly face around the supporter section. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen him. Gabriel Diaz, founder of La Doce de Atlanta, El Gabi del Cab. I mean, I'm pretty sure. You've seen him around in the tailgates, hanging around the club section, supporter section. So, just introduce yourself. Obviously the ones that have not seen you or don't really know anything about you. How the whole idea of La Doce started off, and just you also told me you already had a little background, even before before Atlanta United. You mentioned that you had worked with the Atlanta Silverback. So, just give us a little bit of that.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Once again, my name is Gabriel, and I've been in Atlanta for like a little bit more than 20 years. Always with the soccer community, either playing, refereeing. Uh, I worked for like almost 6 years at Atlanta Silverbacks, and then in 2017, Atlanta United came out with this MLS team, and we decided to create like a Latin Hispanic supporter group, um, and we're here since then. So here I am.
So, there was a lot of you know, basically commotion. I mean, in the early years with, you guys not being like the official supporter group. But no, and, obviously that came to actually be official, later down the road. And, there's a lot of, like myself, like I'm, pretty sure you always, see me like messaging you like every time that, any merchandise comes out or anything like that. And, I'm like the ones that, I try to support, like the supporter groups in terms of like, just in general, because they're the ones that, show up to the games. They're the ones that really put up through like, or that are there, through everything, rain, thunderstorm, whatever it is, man. I mean, you guys are there. So, yeah, Bruno, we have a comment. He says the OG chief of La Doce. So, Gabriel, in terms of expectations, from the fans, there was a painful defeat this past weekend against Charlotte at home. Pretty much everybody was pissed. I mean, all three of us like actually were down there in the tunnel, and it wasn't a good sight. And in terms of like the team morale, and I mean, obviously they bounced back, but it's still like a very eerie situation. And it's basically like game by game. And James, I don't know what's your thoughts on that. Just having like two different entire games, in terms of playing Charlotte and Colorado.
Um, I mean, both games, you did a lot. I think Charlotte was, big hyped game, rivalry, whatever, and they came out flat again. I mean, it's tough to go back to this one after last night because last night was crazy, but I mean, it was rough, rough result. You know, it was very similar game to what we've seen, the past couple months in terms of how we played, and it was just big issues. And the mentality, which Gonzalo said afterwards, I mean, that was totally on point to me. But I mean, man, rough game. That one was terrible.
Yeah, Gabriel, I mean, you were, like I mentioned to you a little bit ago, before we were on here, you were one of the ones down there that were like pretty pissed off. And, one of the things that you mentioned, and it's pretty clear, honestly, like the fans don't go there, to, say hi to the players, to be, just all smiles and everything. We want, like, the fans, are there for results. And you come from Uruguay, where soccer is taken like pretty serious. If things are not going well, whether it's a mid table team, they still have expectations. Or obviously the higher teams, they're obviously higher. But in terms of like a team like Atlanta United, you have some of the most expensive players in MLS, and yet you're still struggling to get results. So
Well, I think I think every one of us uh, does something for Atlanta United. You know, uh, even you with the podcast and James, um, the people that work for Atlanta United. They've been there for years. Some of them more than others. Um, I think from my point of view, like you said, I come from a country in South America where everybody is like really fanatic. They're like seek for the team and all that, and they don't have a way to show themselves when teams go wrong. When teams go when we're winning, when the team is up there playing good, it's time to enjoy. Like when we had Tata. Well, I don't know if you remember, we used to beat every team in MLS 3-4-5-0, like nothing. It was the best experience for us. So, like every time the team is in a bad situation, um, I think everybody tries to say something to show like how you feeling, you know, and I've been seeing the team kind of going down in performance now with the motivation that Pineda was asking for, and you seen it like because we always there, like you said, we never miss a game and all that, so we seen it. So on the Charlotte game, I was actually at the supporter group, and at halftime I was like, I'm going to the like down,
to
that
the
the club,
tunnel area.
yeah, the club area. I have to go down there to meet up a player to ask them what happened, like something. Like I got out of the supporter group and I started heading over there with my girlfriend, and we didn't have tickets or anything like that for down there, so we had to figure it out a way to get in there first. So the first person that I saw when I walked in the halftime, it was Gonzalo Pineda coming out from the locker room into the second half. The first person that I see, I don't know if it was meant to be or what, but that's the first person that I saw coming out, and all the players were already inside. I mean, outside in the field, ready to go. And I asked him, like he saw me, I saw him, and I asked him, "Where's the motivation? Are we done? Are we gonna give up now?" Like I told him straight up, and he came closer to me, and he was like, I know, we've been missing it, we've been missing it. We'll come back, we'll come back," and he just head to the field, you know. Then everybody saw what happened. We ended up losing for a big goal difference, so it was really bad, and that's when you saw me, like he Gonzalo Pineda came like inside of that club area, heading the locker room, and I asked him again, like, "Are we giving up?" I was like, "Are we giving up?" But I was being loud, I was worried, and then I grabbed a few players and I asked them probably the same thing with other words, and you saw that Purata came, was one of the ones that
Yeah.
that uh, um, got closer to me, and we were talking. Um, we care about the team, like if Atlanta United wins, our community is happy. We can do a lot of things as a group too, as a La Doce de Atlanta supporter group. And when you don't have the motivation there, and we start losing and they start doing the wrong things, and everybody sees it, I guess that's gonna hurt us. you know So, like I was telling you from the beginning, we all have to do our stuff. Like, you know,
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing, and going back to, both aspects of each game. Like, you lost against Charlotte at home. You had another home game midweek, and you still have over 40,000 people show up. That's one of the things that, again, you say, and you still have pretty good attendance regarding, the results that you have and everything. It's like, that the support is always going to be there. And in terms of, we've seen it, in terms of like coaches, players. We had, obviously, the Joseph situation last year. There was a lot of people that were, against him leaving. Obviously, some were in favor. So now, I mean, another situation where you have a DP, Luis Araujo. There's been, it was actually confirmed by the team, like, what, 3 hours ago, probably, that he was sold, for 10 million, I believe, to Flamengo,
I
in
heard
Brazil.
8. I heard 8, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a significantly, big amount, given the fact that he, I mean, he didn't really reach the potential that many, really expected out of him. I don't know if that comes down also to the coaching, not, just him not being used properly.
I
That's
mean,
another thing.
remember last year when we were pushing it so much that we got a lot of players injured, right? You seen the team last year trying to come back, like heading the games with a good motivation, but we will lose, we will tie. Um, the thing is, like, I think the players are comfortable. Maybe the coach is not giving them enough tools or enough ways to find their game. You know, we
Mhm.
all know that Almada is a first class, um, and you've seen it when he gets the ball. You know, you can't get the ball away from him. You know what I mean? I think Luis Araujo is, if he's not in first level, he's really close to that. And if he does go to Flamengo, you guys will see that. Like, he's a really technique and fast and intelligent player. I don't think Atlanta United, and it's the same example as Barco. I don't think we got the best out of him. You know,
Yep.
so we're gonna leave him. We're gonna give him away. The same thing we did with Barco, Marcelino, and now him.
ET.
So I think Marcelino is killing it right now in Brazil. Um, Marcelino is a player that could have helped us a lot in the Open Cup, not having Almada, you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't think about that. They were like, they're doing the same thing they did when Joseph Martinez, before COVID, we were Joseph Martinez dependable, and he got injured in the first game, and that was it for us the whole year. So I think Bocanegra and whoever makes those moves about getting players, they need to have a balance. You can't depend on one or two players because they might get injured. Like Gio just got injured after playing 2 3 games of intensity. He got injured.
Yeah, I mean, it really spoke to the lack of depth, especially. I mean, we don't even have a guy who you can put in at the 10 like Thiago and be fine with it. You could say Eric, but I mean, Eric's hurt, and I mean, he hasn't played first team. He played at Columbus, but I mean, he's been with the twos all year. It's rough.
It's really
And
hard to find a player like Barco,
hmm
like Almada, those different players. They're like, you heard. I used to heard this from the coach. Like, we went to the supporter group meet at the training station, and the last year when we were trying, when we had a lot of injuries and all that, and they told, like they told me in my face. I heard it from them. Like Almada is a different player. It's a first class, total different player. You can't compare him with no one. So if you don't have one of these players, like yesterday, like I didn't even see. I heard he missed a picket yesterday.
Hmm.
Like I got in, and it was like 14 minutes of the game, or 13 games minutes of the game, because I was at the tailgate, picking up everything. So, but then he comes back with that free kick. Like who does that? You gotta be a legend. Like you gotta be something else.
Hmm.
Because he made a mistake. He missed the PK. He moves on. Some players stick with that, and they start getting pressure and pressure and pressure, and they're not capable of doing what Almada just did. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Almada, there Luis Merlo, reporter from Argentina today, was actually mentioning that he was that Atlanta United are hoping for to get an offer close to 40 million, which obviously would break shatter that record of 28, held by Miguel Almiron, going into Newcastle. Obviously, the big name that has been linked with him as of late, well, in terms of Almada, has been Napoli, which I think would be a good fit. Champions League team. Italian soccer, I think is back on the rise in terms of being able to compete with the bigger teams. We've seen that with obviously them making it into the last eight. Obviously, I think that he could still make a step forward in his career because he has the quality to be in even a better team. Honestly,
But
uh,
I think that like Argentina and world class soccer don't doesn't see MLS as a really competitive league. And if he's at that level and he wants to make that step up, he needs to leave. He needs to go to a different league. That's what Barco is doing, because River Plate plays and always shoots to win Copa Libertadores, every year. That's what Luis Araujo is doing right now. Flamengo has won the last two Copa Libertadores, I think, in the last 5 years. Um, Pity Martinez is a clear example of a player like that, but he made another decision. He went another way, and he disappeared. He's not he's not out there in the eyes of Argentina's national team coach, because he moved into a different league, you know, and that's what players have to make a decision. Are you going for the money, or are you going for the competition?
Hmm.
And I think Almada staying here, and if we do bad, he's not going to get called anymore. Or at one point, his level is going to go down. So I think what they're trying to do with Almada is, of course, to make like a millionaire contract with him, and I think that's fair. But that might take him away from going into the team that he wants to go
Hmm.
into a competitive league. Like why not Spain or Napoli or whatever? I'm not sure if Napoli will pay $40 million for a player in MLS.
Hmm.
So maybe a team in a different place will, but that might not be the the target for Almada.
Yeah, I at first I think, 40 million is wild. I was thinking, we'd look 35, 30, but I mean, we've heard these rumors from at least like three, four different clubs. I mean, you're gonna get something, and I think he's 90% he's gonna leave this summer. That's just me. And I think Atlanta will get close to 40 million, maybe not, but I mean, He's
But
just
if
he's.
the closer they want to get to 40 million or even more,
Mhm.
might risk him of going into the team that he should be.
Yeah, that's true.
The lower they might go, maybe he will go into a team that has so much like future. Like I actually heard about him going probably into Liverpool.
Hmm.
Did you guys heard that?
Liverpool.
No, I think
Yeah.
the ones that I've seen floating around have been obviously Napoli, Marseille from France,
Yeah.
has been another one.
Well, I
But
read I read an article where I think they were putting four teams, and one of them was Napoli, and one of them was Liverpool, and I don't remember the other two right now. But it picked up my attention about Liverpool because if you look at Liverpool, well, right now, Darwin Nunez, he just got at all from Uruguay for like $10 million, and he's doing great, and he's our next, leading scorer from Uruguay, if you want to call it like that. So don't go too far. Do you guys remember about Suarez? Suarez started there. Well, he went to Ajax, you know,
Hmm.
and then he moved to Liverpool and he killed it. And then he moved to Barcelona and all that. But if you go farther, you guys remember Lodeiro? He went to Ajax. But what I'm trying to say is that Premier League brings up the value of the player in every aspect, like competition, money wise, and because they play too physical over there, so they create players, like Agüero. They made him stronger and stronger, and then he's a legend. You know what I mean? So I think Liverpool might be a good target for Almada if he wants to be in the national team of Argentina for many years, and he wants to
Yeah, I
become a
mean
legend.
that's the goal. I think his goal is probably to start in the 26 World Cup, of course. And I mean, he's probably hearing the pressure, because Atlanta, Liverpool is one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he's in Atlanta. I I think it's a tough move because you have to you're going from MLS to what Champions League. It's difficult, but special player, you know. I think he'll
But
excel.
he has a different touch. He's
Yeah.
he's from South America. He's Argentinian. They're gonna count on him. It's not like
Hmm.
they're gonna sit him in the bench and they're gonna let him die there. I think being Argentinian, you have a lot of history already, and and that's sometimes everything.
I
Hmm.
And they
mean, the
give you the
guy is
chance.
potentially right. I mean, he's the next number 10 coming up for Argentina because I don't see another playmaker, in terms of that vision, right? That anybody else could have in that team right now. And I think he's proven that, right? I mean, they give him the confidence, obviously, uh, coming from MLS and everything, they still give him the confidence to go to the World Cup roster, even if it was, due to injuries and everything. They still counted on him, over players playing in bigger clubs than uh, here in MLS. So I think that overall, still, Armada, to the ones that are going to be going to the next home games, just enjoying while you can because, yeah, like James said, I'm one of those that I don't see him staying after this summer. It's just
the
not going to
well the
happen.
Copa America is around the corner
Hmm.
next year, and he's gonna be there. So he needs to keep his level out there, regardless of how Atlanta United is doing. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if this might count, but every time he does something, he does a free kick, he scores, whatever. You see him posting stuff. You see him in Argentina. They're marketing him. You know,
Yeah,
they're selling
literally.
it. They're selling him as a top player, as a So he needs to show the coach in Argentina, everybody in Argentina, that he can do it.
Hmm.
Even if Atlanta loses 3-0 to Charlotte, you know.
Yeah. So
So
that's two transfers, and those are two DP spots that we're talking about, designated players, and that's probably the biggest question, in terms of the roster building going forward. It's what positions would you use those DP spots for, this summer, given the fact that, potentially, hypothetically, you have those two guys leaving this summer.
I hope they make a good move and they either go get players just like them, because they've been doing it. If you like, Almada was the number 10 of Vélez. He was a legend in Vélez, Sarfield. Barco is kind of like the same player. Pity Martinez is the same player. You know, um, I think Marcelino could have it done easily too, but I don't know why Pineda let him go. Maybe he wasn't counting on him, but I think he's a good player. He's a different player as well. Um, but we've been having good players. They haven't made the bad decisions. I don't think if you look back in 5 6 years, we had really good players. So they've been scouting really good, I think. But I mean, I don't know if they're willing to do that again. Pay 4 5 10 million dollars for a player in Argentina or somewhere.
Hmm. I was thinking that now that you have both of them open, right, and one of them presumably should be, could be, has to be a U22, maybe you go away from the attacking mid. Maybe you look for a winger that's U22. And a lot of people are saying looking for an eight. I disagree. I don't think using your DP on a center mid, box to box.
And
I
who
don't know.
creates? Who
What's that?
creates?
Yeah, but I think you look for a 10 like Almada, because I think Rossetto, you know, you can bring in a better player to play that role, but I think, what I saw last night, I think he's perfectly fine from there. He has his struggles this year, but I mean,
I
it's
mean, sometimes you have players that can do it, but they don't do it as constant like
mhm,
others. And then some players get injured like a lot,
mhm,
and some others don't. You have Messi, he never gets injured. You have players like Mbappe or Ronaldinho or whatever, like players that have so many games in their back, and they still go. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
For example, Gio might be a good player and all that, but the intensity, like he's not running 90 minutes. So how you can get injured in 2 3 games?
Mhm.
Maybe you're pushing more than what you can do. So I think Roseto is really good. Sosa is really good. Um, there's a few players that are really good, but they get injured. They
Yeah.
get injured. They push it. They get hurt. You know. So we need to look for if you're gonna pay $10 million for a player, he needs to be like.
The guy, like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we looked at Luis for. I mean, you
Yeah,
didn't.
and I think some of the problems too, in terms of like the roster building, I think also has to go back all the way, literally like going back all the way to Joseph Martinez injury back to Nashville, because after that, I mean, let's not even throw like that COVID year in, but after he came back, he wasn't the same player he was, obviously. So they sort of depended on him, to get better, obviously, and just kind of relied on him, to be that guy again, and obviously he wasn't. And I think that in terms of Rosetto, Ibarra, Sosa, those are guys that either have came in, because of Heinze, because of Pineda. So I think it's also in terms of like what the coach wants, and you still have guys from you know Heinze still here basically. Sosa, you said
But
I
they
think
let
he's
him.
he's a
But
really good player, but he's just not used as he should be. Like he just the
well,
way that we
remember,
play just
remember when
doesn't
we
fit
had
him.
Tata. Remember when we had Tata. He bring the team that he brought the team that he wanted. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you a perfect example. Like he brought players that he wanted to put him on the field. And I don't know if you guys remember, Tito used to get injured. Assad used to get injured, but to the point that they were good to play, he didn't sit him in the bench for 2 3 games to kind of put him back little by little. He played him right away. He was like, "You're good to play. The doctor said you're good to play. You're good to sit on the bench. I'm gonna use you." And I remember Tito coming back, scoring versus Orlando after not playing 3 4 games, and scoring that massive goal from, you know,
Mhm.
and this is what I don't understand. Yeah, Heinze made the team probably. He brought some players, but they let him go for a problem with a player that it wasn't his. So we kept all the players because we can't fire all the players and the coach, and we brought a coach that is not willing to put all those players, to use all those players. That's why he leaves Ibarra on the bench a few times, Sosa on the bench a few times, Hernandez here and there. But a clear example of what I'm telling you is yesterday I saw Gusan when I was going from the club level to the supporter group to take out the flags. I saw Brad. I saw Brad Gusan, and I stopped him, and I was like, why you not playing? And he goes like, it's a coach decision, whatever. And I'm
Oof.
like, why? It's not. I'm like, yeah, you were injured. Now you're good to go because he's been good to go practicing and all that.
Yeah, he's been
Mhm.
practicing for like 2 weeks now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, he's a goalkeeper. He's not a midfielder. He needs to run back and forth. He's our captain. He's a person that puts pressure on our players during the game. Why don't you put him back?
The same with Yakimakis too. You could say that. I
Yeah.
mean, the Charlotte game, the perfect example. He
He was
was
ready.
practicing the whole week, and
Yeah.
same. He didn't. He played what, like 30 minutes.
Elliot, no, he start no. He was ready to play. We were losing 3-0 or 2-0, and he put him
Mhm.
in.
Don't get
Why?
it.
He's not gonna score 3 goals in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, even when we just transferred him in here, he was on the bench for like 2 games. Like, this is your new guy. He's talking about how he's gonna score all these goals, and you play him 30 minutes, and like, come on.
You're wasting time.
Yeah.
You're wasting time. Maybe if we had Brad in the versus Charlotte inside, and we had Gio inside,
Hmm.
maybe the game wasn't gonna be as bad because we were gonna
Sure.
have another motivation. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But he
Yeah.
let them go in the bench. Like, no, I have others that are doing pretty good. But with that pretty good mentality, you lost 3-0.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I,
Westberg was he was terrible for Charlotte. I don't think he was great, but I mean, last night he was great. But I mean, I bet Guzan could do.
But
Guzan's
James,
your
you
guy.
James, you can have good games.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
yesterday we won 4-0. We
Hmm.
were attacking 90 minutes of the game, and I
Yeah,
think he had one save that everybody
one save.
appreciates.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a team that is gonna make us problems.
Hmm.
We beat them because we have a better team. We were at home and all
Yeah,
that. But don't forget that we've been losing the last 3 4 games.
it's true.
And we've been doing bad. Like,
Hmm.
so this 4-0 that we got yesterday, don't think this is
Yeah.
gonna be like everything is problem solved right now.
Hmm.
Like you see in the next game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a away game, which I mean that's the biggest, like that's the Achilles heel for Atlanta United. What 2 wins in the last 30 plus games, I believe.
Something
So
like that.
How
it's
many away games we have right now? Like two consecutive.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Two. We got Orlando.
We got Orlando
I
away,
mean,
New England away.
New
Chicago's the
England's
next one
home
this Saturday.
late in the month, but we got Chicago on Saturday, and then next Saturday after that is Orlando, and then back at home on Wednesday, New England.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? You think we have a, in terms of percentage?
I mean,
Man, go if we get 4 points, man, I'll say that's a
If
good,
if we get 2 points,
yeah,
I will be happy.
I
Damn,
agree with
Gabriel,
you.
that's how much faith you have
I
right
think
now.
No, it's not about faith. If you want me to tell you what I want to win both games.
Yeah, no,
We
I
we
definitely like
had,
in terms of like fan perspective, you always want your team to win, right? But yeah, like you look at what like how they're playing and everything, and yeah,
but
you
we can win.
yeah.
We
mhm,
we we were this close for winning in Toronto. We were this close from winning in New York. Was it
mm,
that they tied to us in last minute? I
Yeah.
mean, we can have it done. The problem is what Pineda just said. The motivation is not there, and
yeah.
since it's not there, I'm not sure if they can pull it out away.
Hmm. I mean, we've never scored a goal at Soldier Field in 3 tries, and we've never scored under Pineda against at Soldier Field. And I mean, Chicago's always a tough game up there, but I mean, Orlando, they haven't had their best year, but New England is what, number two in the entire league. They're one of the best
Yeah,
teams.
but Orlando at home, they're stronger.
Yeah. I mean, that game last year was something. We won that, but Orlando's always they always pull it out at home. I feel like it's
Some comments here, Orlando's coaches, DM, and people on
yeah, they're
Twitter.
having a rough time out there. After
Yeah.
winning the Open Cup last year, it looked great coming into this year. I thought they were going to be one of the best teams in the league, and they have been shocking. I don't understand that. But,
Yeah,
But I
some
mean,
comments
I think
here.
motivation. I think motivation in MLS is key because Inter Miami was in the last positions 3 or 4 games ago, and they came back a game before us. Then they went home versus us. They beat us, and then they beat New England, which is the
mhm.
first team. Like their first and second with Cincinnati. Like what do you think that is? Okay, Inter Miami found the way to win all the games. Now they're gonna be the winner of the MLS. Now they're gonna be the winner.
Oop, think you
There, you're back
froze.
on.
All right, you're back now.
Yeah.
But I mean, with mentality, I mean, you saw the step up last night. I haven't seen, Atlanta be on the break that much, get a couple wins in possession, get it back in like transition. I haven't seen that, as much, like this whole season as I saw it yesterday. But I mean, you still go back just a couple days before that against Charlotte, and you just looked absolutely dead. You don't, you have to see how they step out if they want it, and especially away from home, it's difficult. But dang, we lost Ariel as well. But yeah, where'd he go? Welcome back.
Yeah. Gabriel, you're not able to hear us? That's weird.
Yeah, I think we're having some. I think are you muted? I don't know.
Try leaving the stream and then go back to it. Maybe that will work. That's weird, man. Hmm.
It's always happening. But what do you think, Ariel, about Chicago, Orlando, away
Man, the
from home?
next couple games, man. Uh, I think the next game, I think that Chicago, man, at home is it's not the toughest opponent. But when it comes down to the streak that we have and just like the momentum, even though that we've had a 4-0 win, uh, I don't know, man. I still think that a 1-1 or any drawing would be a good or a good road result. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's so hard to tell with this team. One of the comments. I don't know whether it's Tommy or Tyler on the Scars and Spikes
One
thing,
of them.
but if Yakamaka starts all those matches, he said 4 to 6 points, which is relatively what you expect. I mean, that's why I said 4 points. Given that we
Hmm.
go out there with basically the best lineup.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't think it's the hardest game on the road, but I don't know, man. I still think that there's still a lot that this roster has to prove it in terms of the quality and the final third. So hey, you're
It's
able to hear us, man?
Yeah, I'm good now.
All right,
There we
man.
go.
Yeah, we lost you there for a bit, but yeah, man. In terms of we were just like talking about like going onto the road in Chicago, and just like the overall balance. You just lost to Charlotte, but you picked up a 4-0 win, and there's still a lot that the players have to like prove. In terms of like the final product on the field. I think that ever since we lacked that killer in the field. Obviously, we have Yakamakis now, but even so, if he's not there, like Miguel Berry, I mean, he's not the greatest striker. I mean, we all see that. Another guy that in my opinion, I would love. Well, actually, two guys that I would love for them to step their game up is Luis Abran, because obviously you don't know whether Miles Robinson will be here after this season or not, since his contract is ending, and there's still
Do
you
you
know,
guys know when is
no
the
negotiate.
window of transfer? Do you guys have those
I think it opens July 1st. Um,
Okay, so we have our Araujo
mhm.
until June 24th, I think, something like that, right?
Yeah, that's the last game. Yes.
Okay, I think what Atlanta needs to shoot for right now is to make as much points as possible until
Hmm.
before that window.
Yeah.
Like desperate, like thinking that you're going down because we
Hmm.
don't know what players are gonna come. We don't know if when they play those players come, we're not sure if Pineda is gonna put him right away.
Yeah,
So you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we might have
Silly.
two, 3, 4 games after July that he might not use those new players, and he might stick with Chop and Barry and all that, and we're
Yeah.
not gonna get anywhere with that.
No. And
yeah. I
So
mean,
we've always struggled with the visas too. I mean, that always takes time. If we're looking for someone from international, and especially in July, I mean, Leagues Cup's going to be creeping up, where there's a lot of CCL spots on the line. I think it's a big deal. A lot of people think it's money tournament, whatever. I mean, for the teams, it's a big deal for getting into CONCACAF Champions League. But I mean, you got to move quick. And I know these guys have their signings lined up. We're gonna start hearing stuff pretty soon, probably about who we're looking for, who we're
like
getting.
right now we're in third or fourth place, something like that.
Yeah.
If we lose 2 to 3 games and the teams in the bottom win, we're done. What
Hmm.
happened right now is that we got really lucky. Like
the
we
beginning
lost.
of the season, Almada saved us, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
no, but we got yeah. We had games where we were gonna lose or tie, and one player, Almada, picked us up. from
Mhm.
nothing. But other than that, we lost, of course, the Open Cup, but that doesn't count in MLS. So we lost out there versus Inter. We lost versus Nashville, Inter. Uh, then a bad game versus Charlotte. We got lucky that the teams on the bottom, like there are like in fifth,
Right
sixth,
below
seventh
Atlanta.
place, they didn't win. They've been losing, so we're kind of staying there. And we came up to yesterday's game uh, in fourth place.
And
So
there's still what, like a 5 point differential, right? From Atlanta United in first place, Cincinnati, right? If I'm
It
not mistaken.
is. It's six now,
6 points.
and
yeah,
Imagine,
but
I mean,
we
both
have
games
one
against
more game.
Toronto.
We have one more game.
we do. Yeah.
So if the which is the team that is under us right now? Nashville,
No, Nashville's third. We're fourth, and then Columbus,
Columbus.
Philadelphia
Okay, if
are
Columbus
below.
wins that game,
Hmm.
they tied us up.
Yep.
So we're actually in fifth place. If
Yeah.
you know,
Basically, I mean, I was looking at the records. Chicago, they haven't lost at home. They have 2 wins and 5 draws at home this year, and I think that basically writes it. It's going to be very difficult, regardless to pick up three. And I mean, I think you want to pick up one, especially with the history. It's rough. I mean, you don't know what team's going to show up, how motivated. And I think ever since Charlotte, I've looked at it and what you said earlier, like motivation is probably the most important thing. And I think it's pretty foolproof from what I've seen the past few weeks.
yeah, MLS in general. Because
Hmm.
if you look at LAFC, that I usually watch those games
Yep.
because I kind of like other team and stuff like that. Their motivation is there every game. Like at home, they don't lose.
No.
Like they go play versus uh, an international team like in Mexico,
Yeah, they
whatever.
play La Juelense right in Costa Rica, and their supporters friends like their stands were like crazy filled. I mean, that's the level that you want to reach in terms of like
They
success
go
from.
out there. They go out there to play like they're gonna win.
Hmm.
That mentality. And right now they're in the final. I think
Yep.
you see, like they might win it. You know what I mean? Because you don't doubt that because they're doing so good. The
Hmm.
mentality is there. Vela is crazy. You know, that's their talented players. The other players, I think LAFC had better players before than right now,
Yeah,
and they probably didn't reach far enough like they're doing right now.
Yeah, because they were under Bradley, right? Back in like 2018, 2019. I
But
mean, that was
remember the
Shalunlo.
players, but the players that they had like
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember Latif Blessing. What's his other name?
Blessing. Oof,
The
Blessing.
Uruguayan man.
That guy is sick.
Brian. What's his name?
Rossi,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Diego
Hmm.
Rossi. Diego Rossi. Dude,
like a top player too. Like
Hmm.
you know, but the motivation they have it, and they keep getting coaches that bring that professionalism.
Yeah.
We
I'm. I
even
mean, I
with the
turned.
first year coach, right? I mean, Steve Cherundolo wasn't even like like a good manager or like a well known manager. Coming in
who
to LAFC. Steve Cherundolo, the coach for LAFC.
the
Like
one right now,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
their coach right now. And I mean,
but
he
that team,
wasn't
the
really like
coach on that
a
team
guy
is
that was
Vela.
on in the radar, for like big teams. But they still went and got him, and obviously, I think a lot of their fans had like some doubt, but still, he came in and took them to MLS Cup, Concacaf Champions League, this year. So I think they're yeah, everything in terms of like how everything is run from the front office down to the players and even like the fan, everything is like how you honestly would think that Atlanta would want to be in, that position, but I don't know what's holding them back, man. Whether it's the front office,
It's
the choices that they've made. So
it's their heads. I mean, I got home last night. I turned on LAFC, and Belonga just scores instantly. I mean, you just got to go out there and just know you're gonna win and really push yourself. I mean, they did that last night, but I mean, it's all in the head. It's all in the head. That's what I'm feeling right now.
yeah. So we have a couple comments on here. Brian Rodriguez. Yeah, Brian Rodriguez is the name that I was trying to mention. Either. So just we're pretty much close to the hour mark here, but you know, James, prediction time. Chicago.
Man, I don't know. I gotta have a wheel to spin, to pick the result. 1 out of 3, win, loss, draw. I mean, I'm gonna be real this week. Looking at, I had the head-to-head pulled up, but I don't have it. I think, I don't know, 0-0 last year in a day game that I watched on a dodgy YouTube stream last year. I'm gonna go. I'll go 2-1 Atlanta. Whatever. We're just throwing it out there at this point. It could go any way in
Two,
humanly possible.
sorry, sorry, something happened to my connection. Well,
Yeah.
2-1 Atlanta versus who?
Chicago, we're predicting. We never get it right. We try.
You never get it right, so I'm not gonna go with you then.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever gotten it. Maybe once last year. I don't know.
I I think we need to shoot to get something. Like
Hmm.
I think we need to try to we need to know where we at and play smart. We can't just go be like we're gonna win it, because you go out there and then they kill you. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
need to. I think it's the time to chill, to figure it out what we can do, figure it out the times of the game when when it's a good time to go at him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because if we try to go at him constantly,
Jesus Christ.
I I think I think that's what happened with Charlotte.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think where Atlanta's been at their best is when, they get that possession where they feel out the game, whether that's passing around the back or whatever. I don't know. It's a rough weekend. You could do anything. Random number generator, who knows how they'll
The
show up.
thing is, like, I think Chicago's a team that they're pretty good, without the ball, or like comfortable with not having the ball, and they could easily hit you on a counter, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
something that Atlanta United have been very like weak in terms of like giving up the early goals and giving up the late goals. It seems like when you least expect them to score or get scored on, is that's when they come and break down. So.
I think we need to look for free kicks. We need to look for where we're strong at.
Hmm.
You know, if you know out of 10 free kicks, Thiago Almada is gonna score 7 or 8. Like you gotta dive close to the area or something. Like
It's true.
you gotta figure it out way, because if you try to do the goal of your life, you might not do it, and you're
Hmm.
hurting the team.
Yeah,
You know,
and corner kicks. We're good at corners
corner
too.
kicks. Purata
Yeah.
is a big header right there.
Hmm.
I don't know why Miles hasn't scored any
Yeah.
this
I think
season.
he had a shot on target last night. I remember it wasn't a great header, but it was a tough spot.
He
I feel,
wins up there. He
yeah,
wins,
he does.
but he hasn't been so like you know.
Sosa as well. He won a lot of headers last night, but not on corners. I think it's Yako and Parada. They've been the guys that have definitely got on the corners. What do you think about Josh's question? I don't think I'm worried because I mean I guess he's out the door, whatever. I mean I like the way he plays. he's one of the
It
guys
did
where
seem like yesterday, right? He did show or like stepped it up a
that
little
was his
bit.
best
Like
game, I think, ever at the club. I think, in my opinion. I mean, he was running everywhere. I think this deal was already, basically confirmed, probably last week, where Arujo know he was gonna be there. But I mean, this he's motivated and he wants to
But you
play well.
guys, but you guys saw how he scored
hmm
yesterday.
That was a crazy run. Yeah, that I
But like
posted it.
his celebration,
Yeah, the
his
celebration.
celebration is this, and on his Twitter, he put something similar last week, I think,
He did.
because people are like asking him for more. He's getting pressure from. I don't think it's us, because we don't go at the players like that. But he's getting pressure from somewhere. Probably, hey, are we gonna sell you to Flamengo? We don't know this. You need to step up and this and that. And he put something in Twitter, like it wasn't him, but it was like a cartoon
Yeah, it
thing.
was.
You saw it,
Yeah, last
like
week. Yeah.
going like this, and everybody talking to him
hmm
like he wants to be out of that.
Yeah.
He's kind of retaliating right now,
hmm
and sometimes that's good, but if we miss a game or two, he's not
hmm
gonna be happy.
Yeah. I tweeted it yesterday actually before the game. I was like, Arujo's gonna score today and plug his ears, and he did exactly that. Because I remember he posted that on like Monday, and I'm like, I've always cheered for him.
I
I'm
mean,
glad
when
he
you
did
when
that.
you have a player scoring and doing what, remember Joseph Martinez used to do, like react kind of bad to the fans
hmm
and all that, that's a risk.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want a player to be happy. You want a player to score and go celebrate with the fans, or
hmm
or you know like Almada is doing,
Yeah.
or probably Gio, all these players that are trying to step up.
hmm
But I mean, Brazilian players are strong minded. Like they don't
hmm
give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, really. I'm glad he did that yesterday, though. Whether that's to us, I don't think it's to the fans.
No,
But I
no.
mean, the way he did that, I like it.
all right, guys. Well,
What
we're
is your
pretty much
prediction? Did you say your prediction, Ariel?
Yeah, Ariel, go on.
oh, well,
Just throwing out.
I said 1-1, man. I
That's
don't
fair.
think that it's. I don't know, man. I just think that we're gonna see the typical, Atlanta United possession, trying to break them down, and
What is
I
the
don't know.
position of
It's
Chicago? What are they? What?
Um, they are currently, hold up, gotta pull it up. But I mean, with Chicago,
they're like
you know,
mid-table. I think they're not too low.
they're 13th.
I think it
Oh,
So
can be a.
shit.
I think it can be a good 2-2, like 2-2, a
yeah,
draw.
I agree. I mean, I think, you're getting Andrew Gutman back, who's gonna be on one. I hope he's definitely gonna want to get back after, he
Yeah,
tweeted out
Barr
last
should be
week.
starting too, right? I mean, I don't know. I think he
I
unless Pineda is
Is
being.
Gio gonna start, or they're gonna
Well,
bench him
if
again?
he doesn't, it's that same thing. Like, what are we doing? What's the point?
I mean, I'm
I
gonna
think he
tell you,
will.
Ariel. I think with Thiago Almada, we have at least one goal secure in each game.
I mean, we had the most goals in the league, you know, and the most conceded. But I
So
mean,
we might score, and if we're not winning, and if we're not losing, it might be like a 1-1 or 2-2.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, thank you, obviously, Gabriel, for being here. James, as usual, man. Glad you could join us, man. As usual, to the guys that are here on the comment section, thank you, for commenting, for your questions and predictions, everything else. We gladly appreciate being obviously a part of the conversation, and just a couple last
I would like to get back
comments.
with you guys in that window between the 24th and the whatever the window closes.
Yeah,
All right.
dude. Hey, you're more well. I'll get back with you, and I will have you on here again, man. It was a good talk having you on here, and uh, you know, overall, man, we're just fans of the team. Obviously, we want the best, in terms of like the results and everything, but there's still things that if they have to be pointed out, obviously, they're gonna be pointed out, but still, you know it's a tough road, when in terms of like when you really support a team and they haven't been doing so good, and but we're here for the ups and downs, man, and that's
I'm
what really matters.
excited to see who's coming.
Yeah, two DP spots. I mean, there could be
Ariel,
two big
Oof.
name players, or I mean,
Mhm.
Ariel, what is the name of the intern coach? Is it Valentino? What is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Rob Valentino.
Okay, yesterday I saw him in the begin was no, it wasn't at the beginning. It was like going into the second half. And I called him up. Like right there where you saw me, I called him up. They were
Yeah,
going. And I was like, hey, Valentino, Valentino. I was like, he came. I was like, are you ready? He's like, what? Are you ready to be the coach? Because they're about to they're about to cut Pineda. Like
yeah. Did he walked
he
away,
just
or I'm pretty sure he just walked away, right?
he just kind of was like, what the fuck? Kind of laughed like that and kept walking. Like got away from there.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
good.
But he heard me right. Like I was like, he was walking, and I called him. Hey, Valentino, one thing. Like I don't know, I don't remember what I said, but I got his attention, and he came to me, and I told him, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Because you're about to get Pineda's spot soon."
Damn.
That's good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, who knows, man? That I think that's probably the biggest question, in terms of whether Pineda stays on. If we see another bad run like the one that we saw recently, but hopefully that's not the case, man. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, obviously, as usual. I mean, Gabriel, I don't know if you're the one that actually controls the Twitter account for La Doce.
Well, I have access,
Yeah, I
and
mean, I'm just asking because I mean, usually, the people that are on here, we just tell them, to follow their profile or whatever, in
I
terms of,
have Papa Rosas always helps us out to follow those things too. Diana does a little bit too, but we do more of the post. Papa Rosa is kind of like always like listening and seeing what people write and all that. But I kind of I kind of focus more on Facebook and Instagram, you know. But
all right,
but whenever we gotta post things, we do it everywhere, like Twitter and all that.
yeah. All
But I'm
right.
not a
Well, I
big
mean,
fan of Twitter.
yeah, I mean, you guys, yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, La Doce Atlanta, go follow them on, James, ATL, ATL UTD James, myself, Resurge Spike ATL on Twitter, Gabriel, thank you for your time, bro. Hopefully we'll have you here soon, sooner rather than later, man.
Where